Hello again. I have every sympathy for those people born with ambiguous genitals, what were once referred to as hermaphrodites, but these days we call intersex. I have the same sympathy with them as I do with those people who feel uncomfortable in their bodies and wish to belong to the opposite sex. Of course, we should have compassion for such folk, but that does not mean that we should allow them to punch women in their faces. What I find truly extraordinary is the way in which the 1970s are regarded as the dark ages as far as gender equality are concerned. A time when women were paid less than men for the same work and casual misogyny was rife. All this is of course true, but I can tell viewers one thing which was universally detested in those days, and that was men who beat up women. They were regarded as cowardly and unmanly. Then too, the idea of a man changing his name and trying to muscle in on a women's weightlifting championship or swimming or boxing competition. What on earth would we have thought about such a person in the 1970s? We would have expected the organisers of the competition to chuck him out, of course, not accuse us of being bigoted if we objected to such obvious cheating. Both these things, cheating at sporting competitions and a man hitting a woman, coincided at the Olympic Games in Paris yesterday. An Algerian man with XY chromosomes was allowed to enter the boxing ring with a woman and punch her in the face. That's right, a man punching a woman as entertainment. Those disgusted by this sight were denounced as being sexist bigots. The backstory to this is interesting because the Algerian guy, Imal Khalif, was supposed to be taking part in Women's World Boxing Championships in New Delhi last year and was scheduled to fight a Chinese person, but was then disqualified when it was revealed that he was actually male. The person he was due to fight was also then disqualified for the same reason. Lin Yu-ting from Taiwan, who also has XY chromosomes and is therefore male, is due to compete today in the women's boxing in Paris. If I didn't know any better, I would think that men were starting to colonise women's boxing and that it was becoming quite a thing for men to compete against women and hit them. Maybe I'm getting muddled up. Perhaps I'm viewing this from the wrong perspective. I don't know. But that's certainly how it seems to me. Older viewers will perhaps remember the Olympic Games in the 1960s when Russia and East Germany were led to some very dubious looking women weightlifters and shot putters. Many of these people were either born intersex or were actually men pretending to be women. This is why sex tests were originally introduced for the Olympic Games. It's a very old game, though, at the Olympics. In the 1937 Olympic Games in Berlin, the women's high jump had a German entrant called Dora Ratchen, who was actually intersex and later became known as Heinrich. This was something of a scandal at the time, and I give a link to the Wikipedia page about this person. You can find it in the description to this video. What I find really weird, though, is the way that anybody today raising concerns about seeing a man punch a woman in the face is being accused of various hatreds and phobias, rather than just a concern for the well-being of a woman being beaten up by a man. As I say, you can say what you like about the bad old days of the 1970s, but at least at that time we knew that it was wrong for a man to hit a woman, and we weren't afraid to say so.